Well, we had a lot of storm last night, a lot of wind, quite a bit of rain. They said we might get some hail, but I don't think we did. But the first thing I need to do today is come out here and check on these sheep and make sure everybody's here. I need to check the fence, make sure we didn't get a tree back there in the back blown down across the fence. There's some wild cherry trees back there, quite a few of them really, and those can be toxic to sheep or cattle. So I need to get back there and make sure they didn't blow down and any limbs get down to where the sheep can chew on them a little bit. A few of those leaves won't hurt them, but I don't want them to have very many. And they're particularly toxic after a day like last night. If something got blown down and then it sat here and the leaves have started to wilt a little bit, that's when they are the most toxic. So let's get out here and make sure everything's okay. Here, sheep. So far the fence looks okay. If I really had to, I could string a electric wire down through here to keep them in. This is what I'm worried about. These are wild cherry trees. I try to keep these limbs trimmed up so the sheep can't reach them. But like I said, after a windy storm, we gotta get out here and make sure something hasn't blown down that they can get to. Squirrel. Oop, squirrel. Come on, boys. Here, sheep. Here, sheep. Here, sheep. I'm sure y'all are going to run the wrong direction, but well, today is the day. Today I look forward to every year, but it's also a day I dread a little bit. These lambs have been nursing on their moms. Well, they've been nursing long enough. They're getting most of their nutrition through some solid food, grass and supplements, things that I'm giving them. I'm sure the ewes are ready to be left alone, and I think a few of these ewes have already weaned their lambs actually, naturally. And for those that haven't, well, it's time for it to happen. So today, I've already got the sheep up, and we're going to run them through the chute, separate the lambs, and then I need to set up the scale weigh the lambs, and I'll use those numbers along with their conformation and overall appearance to decide which ones I think would make good breeding stock and which ones just need to go to market. It's supposed to be a sunny day today without getting too hot, so let's get started. Always got to be that couple. All we're going to do right now is separate ewes and lambs. There you go. Up in there. We'll go on out there, get your feed. Mama don't need you anymore. Well, we got that part done. The lambs and the ewes are separated. The lambs are all weighed. If you were paying attention a little bit, you noticed there were several in there that I needed to deworm. Now anything that I deworm will not be kept for breeding stock. And at first glance, or first thought, you might think, well, that's not very good if your sheep are wormy. And it's kind of a double-edged sword a little bit, in that, yes, it's not good that the sheep are wormy, but what that does do is tell me the ones that did not get wormy. They're all running on the same pasture, the same feed. They have their whole life. They've got the same parasite load on the pasture. So it is good to see which ones could handle that and which ones did not. So yes, I would like for none of them to be wormy. They would grow better, they'd look better, and it'd make me feel better in a way. But it's nice to know that there are some out there that were on what obviously a pasture that had a parasite load on it, and they were able to handle it just fine. So those are the types that you want to keep for your breeding stock. And there's other ways of doing it. You can do fecal egg counts and things like that, and I think all that is a great idea. But sometimes I just don't have time for all that. So for right now, what can handle the worm load is good, and what can't will just go to market. I won't keep anything like that. Well, as you can hear, the lambs are not real happy. Some of the ewes aren't real happy. That's why I had to stand here in the barn. But I'm going to go out and move things around a little bit. I'm going to move the rams that are now locked kind of behind me, beside the barn. I'll open some gates up to form an alleyway and run run the rams out into the pasture where the ewes and the lambs were running. And I'll move the feeder up here close to the barn, turn the lambs out on that lot so they'll have access to the feeder, they'll have water, they have shade. The ewes I'm going to leave locked in the lot behind the barn. I'll open all the gates up in each of those little lots so they can go to all the small little lots. They can get access to water, they'll have access to shade. And I like to keep them locked up here close to the barn where I can kind of watch, control their diet a little bit. I want to make sure everything is drying up. We don't have anything that looks like they might have a mastitis problem. And I'll do that for probably a week, maybe a little more, depends on how it goes. And then we'll move them over to the summer pasture where they'll have plenty of grass and water, and they'll spend the rest of the summer over there. So let's get these rams moved and get everything resituated, and maybe everybody will be a little happier. I know I will. Come here, girl. All right, boys, let's get you to your new pasture. Psst. Come on. Psst. 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 Come on. There you go. Yeah, y'all going through there, help me out. Thank you. Well, as you can see, the ewes are not too terribly concerned about this situation. I think most of them have already weaned their lambs off, or they planned on it. Huh. There's one booger right there. Has snuck back in. I'm gonna have to get that one back out. Little ewe lamb. Probably squeezed under that gate. We'll have to do something about that. There's two of them. Heck far, there's another one. All right, well, let's get these two out of here, and let's get them out of here and see what we can do about filling that hole in under the gate.